Hello, my name is Steven and I'm from Arkansas. And I guess what we're going to talk about is depression. I suffer from clinical depression. I've suffered from it for about approximately 15 years now. Initially, I had a pretty good life. I'll give a short bio here. I was born back in the 60s. I lived through the 80s, and I joined the Army, served 3 years, left it, went to work for a large glass manufacturing facility, worked there for 11 years, 3 years in the Army. Then I went to the largest snack food company in the world, worked there for 5 years. But then at that time period, I started suffering from stress for the first time. I couldn't handle it anymore for some reason. I went to work for another place that made plastic toolboxes, and all of a sudden, just the thought of going to work just made me sick to my stomach. Anxiety. That's what I was thinking it was, and I just couldn't make myself anymore. So I started getting some therapy. And of course, they diagnosed me with depression. They started putting me on some meds. They did not work. That is something that people suffering from mental disorders need to know. The medications they put you on at first will probably make your symptoms worse. It takes time to find the right combination, the right dosage of medication. So for your loved ones, you need to let them know this. Mental illness on the wrong medications makes you worse. At one point, I actually thought my wife was trying to kill me. I don't remember wanting to kill her first, but I definitely was completely out of my mind. They tried some different medications and my depression just got worse. In late 2006, I finally just crawled into bed and never left it. Some people might try to say literally, almost literally. For the next 2 years, all I did was sleep, get up and eat, go to the bathroom, and only if my wife made me leave the house did I leave it. Other than that, I slept approximately 16 to 20 hours a day. That's depression. You don't just snap out of it. People just say, so what's wrong? What's bothering you? What are you sad about? You're not sad. You're depressed. The line in Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, comes to mind, where Captain Barbossa says, the salt air loses its taste, food has no taste, you can't feel the cold, wet air, a woman's touch, you feel nothing. I was absolutely numb. I just had a baby, a beautiful middle daughter, and I just lost all interest in having anything to do with her, with my wife. She complained about it quite readily. We went to not having sex at all because I had no interest. You have no interest in anything. Things I loved, reading, watching movies, spending time with my kids. Nothing. I absolutely had nothing. I could sit there, watch TV for about 5 minutes, then go back to bed. That's not much of a life. And I suffered from that for about 2 years. They tried different things, and finally, I thank God for my wife at this point. Because I don't know what I would have done. I'd have done something stupid. She finally just walked up to me in late 2008 and said, Steven, I've had enough. We need to do something. We need to stick you in a hospital. And that's exactly what we did. That evening, got somebody to watch the kids. I don't remember. I remember almost nothing during those approximately 3 years. 2 years at that point. We'll get more of that later. In late 2008, got somebody to watch the kids. Took me to a nice one initially. But of course, at that time, I had lost my insurance. And we were just getting by, scraping by on everything. We were using credit cards Up until that point, I had made a good living. We had enough to pay our house payment, pay our bills. We had cable. It's like we both had cars that were paid for. We had money stashed away, several $1,000s. And we had gone through all of that. So she was trying to get me back on my feet so I could support my family again. She took me there. It was like, since I didn't have any insurance, we can't take you, but I can recommend you to go over to this one. And you need to report there immediately, or else I'll have to call the police. Because it's like, I was to that point where I would have done something stupid. So they checked me in, and they tried different medications on me. I was in there for about 2 weeks. Yeah, I was that far gone. Completely out of my mind. They tried different medications. And finally, they got me on stabilized. I finally got out of the hospital, and I was so much better. The medications helped. My symptoms were, at that point, manageable. But the thing about when you have a nervous breakdown, that's what I call it nowadays, is that it completely changes your brain chemistry. Completely. You are not the same person anymore. And people have issues with dealing with it. Your family will think you is like, what's wrong with you? It's like, you're not the same anymore. And you're not. This has completely changed. You're not the same person. All you can do is try to make the best of it. But lost my train of thought, as I am wont to do. And I was able to function there for a while. And after a couple months, I got myself another job. I worked as a call center customer service agent for a large telephone company, and answered phones for about a year. But I couldn't handle stress anymore. Well, some of the calls were nice. When you call the person on the customer service agent, don't cuss them out. Don't yell at them. They're human beings. It's like, and so many people forget that they just call you to yell at you. No purpose. They have no reason to call. They don't actually have an issue. They just call to yell, take it out on you because you can't defend yourself as a customer service agent. You're supposed to smile, be nice, say thank you for calling. You can't say anything back, and they know this. And after several of those calls, I almost had another breakdown, so I lost that job. I was on the verge of quitting, but they fired me before I quit. You're fired. Exactly what the guy did. You're fired. Because I kept missing days, kept going to see my doctor. And that ended that period, and I went into a downward trend again. At that point, I started trying to apply for disability. Just because people don't have a physical, visual disability does not mean we don't have a disability. I can't function in a normal society in a normal job. I can't. The minute I have a little bit of stress, it's just incredible. I can almost break down and start crying as soon as I'm stressed by anything. I want to get up and start screaming, and during the next few years, that's exactly how I handled my stress, my anxiety, my depression. I would scream, yell, and I have a loud voice anyway. I'm talking a very low tone here. If I get excited, you'll notice the difference in raising my volume. I have a voice that carries, as people say. And so I'm very loud if I'm even a little bit excited. When I'm angry, upset, my voice is horrible to hear. And I couldn't deal with it. So several times over the next few years, almost skipped over this part. Shortly after I lost the job for the telephone company, it still makes me cry to this day. We lost our home. I had bought it, and for 8 years we had lived in it. We had made improvements on it. I planned on growing old with my wife and our children, growing up there and getting married there. Yeah, I still feel it to this day, this many years later. So, approximately December to January of 2010, We were basically homeless. The company, I'm not going to say their name, but it's a bank company, told us to get out. We had 30 days to get out. So, and we had no income. So we survived by the grace of God for the next few years. And I was in and out of mental institutions several times. It's like I even grew a fondness for some of them that I like better than others. One of my favorite stories is when I was checked into a hospital in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I went there, and here's this 6'1", 300-pound guy. And they come in and they say he's psychotic. And the nurses there were a little bit nervous about me. Normally, most medications, my wife will tell you this, I hope. I took an entire bottle of sleeping pills. Yeah, entire bottle of sleeping pills. And the thing about depression is you will sleep and sleep and sleep, but at a certain point, you can't sleep. So I'd been up for like 2 or 3 days at that point. And I just wanted to go to sleep. I just wanted to sleep. Then all my problems would vanish for a time. And that made me, for the moment, feel better. So one night I just kept on taking them, drinking, take them. I didn't sleep. I took an entire bottle of sleeping pills and it did nothing to me. That gives you an idea what kind of system I have. A lot of medications don't affect me. So they had problems with different medications working on me. And I went to this hospital in Little Rock, and I told them it's like I hadn't been on my medications in a couple of days, and I was having a headache. That's what happens when you go off your medications. I always wondered about drug addicts. Them saying they can't go off it because of the way they feel when they're off their drugs. It's like when you go off your mental medications, your brain just like shorts out, misfires, and it's just a horrible pain. And I told him, well, I need some medicine. I need something to get rid of my headache. I was like, oh. And I didn't realize what they had said at the time. I'm pretty sure they told me what it was they were giving me. They gave me Halidol. For those that know, it's a very strong narcotic. And that's the first medication I'd ever run into that truly knocked me out. I mean, I took it. Well, I've called and checked on me over the next couple of days while I was there. And every time she called, he's still sleeping. Just like, yeah. They finally got me out of there. I went back home. But, yeah. Then, over a period of time, I'll say it, it's like, the issues with my marriage are my fault. It's like I'm impossible to live with. I love my wife and kids, and when I'm stable, I'm stable. When I'm not, I'm not. Me and my wife are separated currently. So I'm living here in this apartment by myself, and they live a ways away from me. It's like I'm hoping to be back together with them again soon. We're working on that, I hope. But, yeah, and approximately 2015 we separated, and I've been living here for the last few years, and I'm in the best health I've been since probably 2009. I'm no longer stressed from where we were living at. We were living in a place that was not very nice because that's all we could afford. And so I think it was in 2016 I finally got my disability started. Not a crazy chick. As I said about my previous work history, it was like I loved working. I didn't want to get sick and not be able to work again. So you see people like me with mental health problems and they're drawing a crazy check. Again, as we say in the South. Don't give us a hard time. I didn't want to be this way. I didn't choose this. I wanted to be something different. I want my old life back I had back in 2004 with a brand new baby and good job and money socked away in a house with 5 acres. That was one of the happiest times of my life. And I didn't want to lose all that. And I lost everything, guys. I lost everything I had. But, let's go back. I'll give you my history of my initial diagnosis. Initially, I was diagnosed with depression, major depressive disorder, psychosis. And they changed it over, and they said I had PTSD. Then they changed it over again, and they added borderline personality disorder. You'll hear about this. Not all of us are dangerous. We just see things in black and white, and things are right or wrong, and we're very difficult to deal with. Basically, we're very stubborn people, very opinionated people, and we want things our way. There's good things about us, and there's bad things about us, same as anybody else. And after the borderline personality disorder, they finally bundled it all under psychoaffective disorder. So I went from depression with psychosis to PTSD to borderline, and currently I'm diagnosed as psychoaffective. And it just basically means everything above I have. And now it's like I'm functional, but barely functional. I can't live a normal life anymore. So here we are for now. The main thing I want people to know is that those of us with mental health disorders deserve to be treated the same as everybody else. It's like we didn't want to be this way. We don't want to be roaming the streets homeless. We want to be normal, and we can't. So we do the best we can. Okay, guys, I guess that about sums it up for today. It's like I'm going to continue doing this for the next few days. I'm going to post daily about mental health and how to handle us and what to do about us. And if people like what they hear, I'll continue it on and do it more often. But for right now, it's like, is a person suffering from mental health disorder, largely depression? Stephen from Arkansas, signing off. Hope everyone has a blessed day. Thank you.